everybody, and welcome to the first ever Pigskin Preview. Each week, beginning on Wednesday, you'll be able to log on to our website and tune in to a discussion of that week's football games involving Walton County High Schools. Plus, we'll have an interview with one of the head coaches. Sports writer David Johnson will join us in a few minutes, and we'll talk about Monroe at Monticello, Social Circle at Banks County, George Walton at Pinecrest, Loganville Christian at Calvary, and Covenant, the defending independent Christian schools of Georgia-Alabama state champions, on the road at new creation. But first, Walnut Grove kicks off its 2011 campaign Friday night at Morgan County. This will be the first game under first-year head coach O.J. Soto, who joined the Warriors after a 10-year stint at Grayson. We talked with Soto about that Walton County game and what Warrior fans can look forward to. Coach, we talked before, and you said you'd had trouble sleeping. You ready to go now?
Honestly, yes, I am, but at the same time, still not sleeping a lot. I've been telling a lot of people I'll sleep in February when we have that week out of school. I feel like, we have to prepare, and if it's 2 o'clock in the morning when something comes to mind and I'm not sleeping, then I need to get up and prepare for it, write it down. The mirror in my bathroom has a lot of notes on it, so we've been. My wife has gotten used to that right now. But whenever we have to, we prepare. I prepare, and then we just try to always evaluate where we're at because we're not where we need to be. So,
all right. Against Morgan County, what do you know about them?
First of all, I think they're very well coached. I think they do a great job of. They have an identity. They know who they are as a football team. They know what they are on defense and what they are on offense. It's a really good style of football, which is what we're going to try to be, which is run the ball, control the game from that aspect. I think that they get those players to really play hard and really do a good job of being very physical. The game is, as long as it's been played, it's been won in the line of scrimmage, and that's where they have a lot of guys that can play football, and they've got some good speed that can really, if they turn the edge or get the corner on us, they can have a lot of success. And then on the defensive side, they do a good job of really getting to the ball. So that's where we gotta have some success as far as staying on blocks. So I think overall they do a really good job of getting those guys ready, and it's going to be one of those games that's going to come down to the last 2-3 minutes of the game.
We talked about your offense and defense, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but special teams, especially early in the season, decide so many ball games. With everything you had to do to get ready to play, how much time have you had to devote to special teams?
We've actually put in a fair amount of time. We devoted several practices where we just said we're going to take a whole hour and go special teams and hit everything. I feel like our kicking game is really strong with our kicker coming back, Tyler. I think Tyler does a good job. He put one in the end zone, and then we had to punt, and in the scrimmage, and we had to punt. He put one right around the 10-yard line, which is what we want to do, and make the other team have to go 80, 90 yards. And when you have you got a chance when you got to make a team go 80 or 90 yards. So in that aspect, we're good. Our lanes and coverage are where we need to get better. And then our kickoff return, I felt like our second kickoff return in the scrimmage, I thought we did some good things. We're 1 or 2 guys away from, I think we took it out to the 35, and we're 1 or 2 guys away from, having it taken to midfield. So we've devoted a large percentage of practice, and every day we allot 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how it is, because I feel like that's where we can have a huge advantage over other teams on our schedule. So that's something that we've really worked hard on, and that I harp on, because that's a third of the game that we can win lots of times because of the personnel that we have.
Speaking of personnel, how's your team speed? I know you scrimmaged Loganville, handled them fairly easily, so are you happy with your team speed?
Yes, sir. I feel like our kids understand what we want them to do, and they play fast most of the time. There's a couple times where they just get, they just lose focus. So that's really what we're harping on this week. That's our big word for the week, is focus on the details, so we can really fight the ball and make blocks. I think overall we did what we wanted to. We did what we had to do to be successful, but at the same time, we're not where we need to be. I think we can play faster. I think our kids are still learning a few things and learning how to play on Friday nights. As a translating it from a Wednesday, Thursday practice to a Friday night, it's the big thing that they have to do right now.
Learning how to win is going to be something they're going to have to really concentrate on too. And I guess the win over Loganville in the scrimmage is a step toward the right direction.
Yes, sir. I feel like it was one of those things where it was big for our community. The people were really excited. I think our players were very, very excited. But it started earlier in the day when we went and had dinner at First United Methodist Church at Walnut Grove, and we had 10, 12 ladies cook for us, and they fed us as a team, and I think that is kind of that's the catalyst that I want, because I want the community to be involved in what we're trying to do. So I think that was just the first step, and then the kids started to realize, man, there's a lot of people here that want us to be successful. So we're trying to get to that point where they understand that winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing, and we need to get to that point where we walk out on the field and expect to win. That's my expectation, and I have high expectations, but I wouldn't dream of taking a job unless you have high expectations for the team. I don't want to get up in the morning and go through the motions on anything I do. So that's the same attitude I want to have with these kids, and I think they're starting to get that little by little every day.
All right, the Warriors started off on Friday night, 7:30 kickoff at Morgan County. That's over in Madison. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we're back, and behind us is George Walton's Keith Henderson Field. We're going to be talking from the press box, and it's a warm press box here as we take this afternoon. Of course, this is David Johnson. David, you covered George Walton, and you talked to John Williams earlier this year. What's Coach Don thinks is going to happen this year?
Well, this is obviously their second year in JHSA. They had quite a first year. They went to a great season, came within a double overtime loss of actually winning the region, and then actually went to the second round in the state playoffs. So had a good start. Unfortunately, they lost a lot of players from that team. A team that a year before they had won a state GISA state championship, and then of course helped them get into the playoffs last year. They lost a lot of key players, namely a couple of running backs, Eric Dobbs and Justin Brown, who were just game breakers. Every time they touched the ball, they were a threat to go the distance, and they'll be missing those guys dearly this year.
They're going to go back to that 3 yards in the cloud of dust that Williams won so many ball games with this year.
Oh yeah, I've covered George Walton now for about 8 or 9 years, and until the last couple of years, that was kind of their modus operandi. They had a fair attack, and they put together 18, 19 play drives on offense, eat up the clock, save their defense, play tough defense, and that's what they're going to go back to this year. And we'll see how that works for them. It's done well for them in the past.
What kind of size is George Walton going to have?
Well, that's on the bright side. Of course, they'll be very young in the backfield. They'll be losing, like I said, other than their quarterbacks moving over. Hunter Rice will move over from defensive back, where he set a school record last year with 10 interceptions. He'll be playing quarterback this year, so he's new. The backfield's totally new. The only good thing they've got going for them right now, they'll have the largest offensive line in school history. A couple of 300-plus pound tackles that'll pave the way for them and hopefully help them to grind it out and score some points.
All right, moving on to another school. Monroe area is going to be on the road this week, and they'll be at Monticello, a team they handled very easily a year ago. But David, you know as well as I do that they got some big shoes to fill over in the Monroe area.
Yeah, they do. They lost a lot of key players off. I mean, you got to give credit to those kids that hung around, those seniors last year that fought through the 20 straight games of losing 2 years, never won a game. They stuck with it, came back last year, enjoyed that historic season. A lot of those kids are gone, but I talked to Coach Flick earlier in the week, and he felt like those kids really passed on a real work ethic and positive attitudes, so the kids are coming back. So he's excited about what they got coming back.
course, Devon Smith's gone, but he's going to stay with that triple option like Georgia Tech runs, and Floyd McCoy is going to move from defensive back to quarterback, and that's a key. If you don't turn it over in that triple option, it could be really exciting, but if you do, and David with a new quarterback running that system, that's what they're going to have to guard against.
Oh yeah, well Floyd, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to move into that triple option and to learn it, but on the bright side, this past weekend at Forest Park down in Jonesboro, they had a scrimmage game. Floyd went for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that was quite a nice start. Unfortunately, they also put the ball on the ground 6 times, so they're going to have to really cut back on that or they're going to have problems.
All right, let's talk about Social Circle. You keep up with David Seagraves down there.
Yeah, they've got a tough road to hoe. Last year, Coach Seawright came in at the last minute. Literally, he was hired in May. Less than a week later, they're trying to have spring practice, and then he had just a short summer to get to know his players, to install the system. And they went 2-8 last year, had a tough time, and missed the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. So and they're coming back this year, and Region 8A is upgraded. It's a lot tougher now. And they've got a lot of young kids, a lot of familiar faces that were there for years and years that are no longer there. And so they're going to have a tough time there. They will be opening up against Banks County, and Coach Seawright can relate to the coach there. Coach Philip Jones was just hired on. Banks County lost their coach in February. Coach Jones came in April. He had a couple of weeks to get ready for spring practice, a short summer to get ready. So they're going to be in a similar situation as the Social Circle was last year. So it'll be interesting to see how that game turns out.
And David, I do apologize. I said Seagraves. I wrote Seagraves in a story a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about Coach Seawright at Social Circle. They're going back to stacked time. Coach that, the offensive coach Stoudemire ran down there for so long.
Right, yeah, they're changing their offense, changing the defense to a 3-4. Coach Seawright, again, has had a year now to put in a system that he wants, that he feels comfortable with. Last year, he just didn't have the time. He pretty much had to stick with what was there at the time. But yeah, they'll be young, but we'll just see how those young guys take to the new system.
All right, Loganville Christian School is going to be on the road this week also against Calvert, and Preston Towns covers LCA for us. But in the write-up that he put in the Walton Tribune that was out on Sunday in Pigskin Preview, they're going to have a competitive football team. Andre King does a great job over there, and I think he's the kind of coach that they need at LCA. He's patient, knows they're not going to be gangbusters until they get that program established, but I think eventually they're going to win over there.
Yeah, he's the right guy. He's got pro experience, college experience. He's got the football pedigree, and it just takes time. A new program like that, their numbers are picking up over there. And I know one big thing for them, he's just been trying to instill some toughness in the players, and I think once he gets that toughness and killer attitude in them a little bit, I think they're really going to come around and do some things.
He and athletic director Mark Davis really just good people, and they'll get that thing going like it's supposed to. Covenant Christians on the road this week. They're the defending ICSGA state champions. They won it last year in a game that was played. The championship game was played at LCA, but they're going to be competitive again. They got a new quarterback. His name is Kareem Lopes. He's taking Michael Barton's place. Barton had a brain tumor removed at the end of last year, so he's going to be on the team. He'll be on the sideline, but man, you got to feel for a kid like that.
Yeah, that was a great story. That was a great story for a kid to fight through something like that. You just admire a kid like that. And it's a shame he's not going to be back. But Coach McCready, again, someone just like Coach King at LCA, someone with a coaching pedigree and football pedigree. He knows what he's doing, and I think he expects some special things from him in the years to come.
All right, that's going to wrap up our first Pigskin preview. Don't forget to pick up your copy of the Walton Tribune on Saturday morning. We'll have all the details and the highlights from these games that were played on Friday night. David and I will see you next time.